What is up, my sweet and spicy, sexy people? Really wanted to say two other words, but it's okay. We'll let a minute pass. Today we're going to be doing a Shonen tier list. That's why I got some Shonen themed lo-fi in the background, if y'all can hear that. Right now, one of the best themes ever is playing lo-fi. We love that. I actually tried recording this much earlier today, and I was like 50 minutes in. I was feeling myself. I was vibing. I was having so much fun. And then when I look over to check to see like how much time it actually passed, I noticed the record button had never been hit. So a lot of it was just kind of gone. And I sat there and tried to re-record, and I wasn't feeling it. So I left. I went and played some Yu-Gi-Oh. Got slaughtered. That's not the point. The point is I took a break, came back here, and now we're recording this again. Upside, I'll be able to be more concise with my thoughts. Hopefully won't be here for 50 minutes. Downside, I've talked about a lot of this already, so it might not be concise so much as not as detailed. Regardless, I'm gonna do my level best to deliver y'all the juiciest, most delicious content on this platform. So if y'all are excited and y'all are hyped, go ahead and drop a like and sub below. Or don't, I'm not your dad, can't tell y'all what to do. But without further ado, let's hop into this. So, starting off, we got, where's my mouse? Hold on. There's my mouse, all the way up in the corner. Whoop. Alright, so starting off, very appropriately, we got Dragon Ball. If y'all have been on the channel for a little bit now, y'all have seen I've uploaded Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Y'all probably seen my Dragon Ball Sagas tier list. And depending on when this comes out, y'all might have already seen episode 1 and 2 of me reacting to Dragon Ball Daima. The TLDR, the long and short of it, is I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was incredibly influential on me growing up. They were like my favorite games growing up as a kid, Budokai 1 through 3, and then Budokai Tenkaichi 1 through 3. And even now, I think to date, the best anime game I've played ever is still Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Sparking Zero did come out, and it's very fun, and I'm still going through and recording some of that, and it's great. But I don't know, man. It's Dragon Ball, right? That's what we're talking about. Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball. And this looks like it's a Dragon Ball Super background, but there's nothing specified here. I'm assuming it's talking about all of Dragon Ball. That means OG. That means Z. That means Super. And it also means GT. And while I have a deep love for OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, GT is kind of and Super, while hype, is written shoddily, a little sloppily. The manga's a little bit better, but not by too much, and not until after we're done covering arcs that were covered in the manga, right? Or in the anime. So considering all of that, I couldn't bear to put Dragon Ball anything lower than good. And you see we got our tiers right here. So Dragon Ball's gonna go in good. If you're a Dragon Ball fan and you're mad, leave a comment down below, let me know why you're upset. We can have a discussion about it. Next up, there's Bizarre Adventure. By this point, I should have already uploaded my JoJo's part tier list. And in that part tier list, I do say JoJo's is my favorite anime specifically. And if we're judging by just the anime, which I'm going to choose to do because I haven't finished the manga and I also don't love the manga, we're gonna be judging by the anime, right? We're gonna be judging by the best interpretation, or my favorite interpretation of whatever manga/anime we're looking at. So we're gonna be judging by the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime. From the music, to the artistic expression, to the color changes, to the crazy poses, bro. It's so good. And the fact that Dio is so consequential from part 1 all the way up and until part 6 is insane to me, and it's awesome. Dio's a phenomenal villain. We love Dio. I could not bear to put the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime under anything besides Godlike. For the music alone, it deserves Godlike, I think. It is such a beautiful artistic expression of a mangaka's kind of written word brought to life. It's amazing. Speaking of absolutely amazing, next up we got One Piece. One Piece, I've said it a few times now, and hopefully y'all have seen some chapter reactions to One Piece at this point. But One Piece is my favorite story ever. Just the way Oda layers in world building and just uses plot points from previous arcs and like holds on to them and takes care of them for like hundreds upon hundreds of chapters, only to throw them in your face in the most bombastic way. It's so good. It's so good. There's a reason the fan base calls him Goda. JoJo's, you gotta go below One Piece, because One Piece is my favorite story ever. I love it to death, I love it to pieces. And even if we're being objective about it, I think One Piece is easy one of the best manga anime on here. I prefer the manga, but the anime has been pretty good here recently. Next up, this is the North Star. This is kind of like the progenitor to JoJo, sort of, Dragon Ball, sort of. It's like the 80s basis for all those really popular 90s anime, right? I have never finished Fist of the North Star. I started reading it when I was 15 or 18. I started reading it when I was a lot younger than I am now. And it was good, the parts that I had access to. The issue was not everything was on the internet, so I wasn't able to read all of it. And because of that, because I haven't finished it, I'm going to put it in okay for now. I'm sure it's phenomenal from the way it was going. It was really good. But I haven't finished it, ever. If y'all have any links for where I could finish it, drop it down below, and I'll gladly do like a review of Fist of the North Star, because it is something I want to finish in my life. Next up, Naruto. So Naruto is interesting because I was sort of raised on Naruto, and it was the first really big manga that I had read, big as in like incredibly popular, right? Naruto, that having been said, Naruto it's good. It's really good. I like it a lot. Everything pre-Shippuden is like magnifique. I say Shippuden just because like that's how I split it up in my head, but I am talking about the manga specifically. I never finished the Shippuden anime. I did finish the OG anime. One thing the anime does that I don't particularly love is the amount of filler it has. But we're talking about the manga specifically. And the manga does a pretty good job of pacing and whatnot. I will say Kishimoto's writing of women, not great, not the best. The strongest written woman I think is like Tamari, and we get all of like 5 scenes with her, so it's not ideal. That having been said, I do like it. I do think it's good. This might upset a lot of y'all, and if it does, please drop a comment down below. Let me know why. I do think it's worse than Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball more, and that's just straight up. I'm a fanboy of Dragon Ball. I know my Dragon Ball love is biased, but I like Naruto. Naruto's good. It's not as good as Dragon Ball. Next up, we got Hunter x Hunter. Man, oh man. When we talk about peak, bro, this is what we talk about. It's this and One Piece. These are like the 2 best manga I've ever read. Let's not waste any time. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. It's gonna go right below One Piece. The margins are razor thin. The only reason I like One Piece more is A, it hasn't taken a million hiatuses, and B, it's a lot longer, and I really like long form content. Hence my incredible love for all the campaigns of Critical Role, which I am currently caught up in, and that's like thousands of hours of content. But yeah, I like Hunter x Hunter. I love Hunter x Hunter. I don't think there is a manga that I have read that has been as consistently engaging as Hunter x Hunter. That I can say. I do think every arc in Hunter x Hunter is just so rock solid. Like, I'm trying to think of one that I don't like, and I can't. I can think of one arc in One Piece that I don't like, and that's probably Syrup Village. Well, that's not true. I do like it, but I don't love it. Every arc in Hunter x Hunter I love. From Hunter exams to Tower of Heaven to York New to Greed Island. Greed Island is so good. I love Greed Island. To the Chimera Ant arc, which when I first read I thought was really long, but when I went back and I reread it a few years ago, it was just good. I didn't think it was long at all. I mean, it is very long, but like it didn't bother me because like every chapter I was like reading was just adding on, right? And I don't think there's another story on this list that has such a direct A to B line between arcs, right? Like Hunter exam arc, we start at the very end. Illumi sabotages Killua. Killua goes home and he's punished by his dad, right? Gon doesn't like it. Gon goes to Killua's house, frees Killua, right? That's where the Zoldyck house arc ends. And then from there, the gang splits up and Gon and Killua decide we need to train. Let's go to, we need to train until York New, right? Because we want to buy the Greed Island name. Let's go ahead and go to Tower of Heaven because we can make money there. Tower of Heaven, they learn about Nen and stuff, and then that immediately leads into York New because it's like literally, they spend a month training, practicing Nen, getting stronger, and then they use those abilities in York New, and that was basically training for them for York New in the first place, right? And then immediately after York New, they get an opportunity to play Greed Island, and they do that because they meet a guy who buys Greed Island in York New. And then from Greed Island, they use the Accompany card, and they go to They want to go to Gon's dad, but because they used a company and not the one that flies them solo, they go to, I'm forgetting his name. I want to say it's Kite, and that leads into Chimera Ant arc, right? Like, it's such an A to B, B to C, C to D. Like, everything is so directly leading into each other. It's so well written. Togashi is probably my second favorite mangaka of all time, as will be demonstrated here in a little bit, it looks like. But yeah, for now, Hunter x Hunter's godlike, it's goated, it's so good. If y'all haven't checked it out, please do. It's phenomenal, it's amazing. Next up, Blech. I say that to be funny. I actually love Bleach. Bleach is my shit. Check this out. I love Bleach so much, your boy got us on Getsu. I have the fucking sword. I have Ichigo's damn sword. That's how much I love Bleach. I love Bleach. When I was a kid and I was reading Bleach, Naruto, and a little bit of One Piece, I'm not gonna lie, the one I liked most was Bleach. That is in part because the drip in that anime / manga is phenomenal, but also because they use swords, and I fucking love swords. And I think of the three protagonists, Naruto, Luffy, and Ichigo, by far the most relatable is Ichigo. Like, it is not a contest between those three. Ichigo is such an interesting character to me, and I like him a lot. And Bleach has a lot of good in it, right? Like, the Rescue Rukia arc is phenomenal. The arc immediately after, where they get the Wizards and stuff, is so good. His dad being a Soul Reaper is crazy. But there's also a lot of fat that needs to be trimmed. The Arankar arc is too long. I went back and I reread it, and I still had the same exact thought. It is too long. There's a lot of, not unnecessary bits, but like bits that could have been much more tightly written. I also don't like how Kubo kind of writes himself into corners a lot, and he'll often kind of create new characters to unwrite himself out of those corners, right? There's a lot of good twists and turns, but at the end of the day, it's not the best manga I've ever read. Really good, and the Fullbringer arc, I know a lot of people don't like it. I didn't like it initially when I first read it, because I really liked the ending of the Aizen and Ichigo fight, and I thought that would have been a beautiful, poignant place to end the manga. But then he brought the Fullbringer arc in, and I didn't like it because I wanted the manga to be done and it wasn't. But on rereading it, the Fullbringer arc is probably like my second favorite arc in all of Bleach. There's an argument to be made that it's my first favorite. I love it to death, and it really does explain like the powers a human can have, right? Which comes into play in a massive way in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, which I also really loved until the last 5 chapters when Kubo was told that he had to end the manga, and so he had to rush it, right? And I'm hoping the anime will kind of flesh out those details more. And if y'all want a 1,000-Year Blood War reaction, drop that shit down below, because I would love to watch it with y'all. But yeah, as much as I love Bleach, as much as it lives in my head rent-free, I do need to be a touch objective, because as you can see, it doesn't say love, hate, or anything. It says good, right? So we have to bring a touch of objectiveness to this. And I think for that reason, because there's so much fat in the anime, and also the filler in the anime is horrendous. We're talking about the manga, but the filler is so bad. We're gonna throw it in okay. It'll be at the top of okay for now. I haven't finished Fist of the North Star, so I don't want to place Fist of the North Star higher than anything I have read, just unless it's really bad. But yeah, we'll put Bleach here for now. Yu Yu Hakasho, man, if we're talking about anime that raised me, Dragon Ball is here, Naruto is here, and Yu Yu Hakusho might be like here. Like, I remember the first time I ever watched Yu Yu Hakasho, I don't even remember what was happening, I was so young. I just remember being enamored with just this punk kid who was so angry and mad at what looked like the world and everyone, and when I was older I realized was sort of a little bit himself, maybe. But it's so well told, dude. And the anime cuts away a lot of chapters from the manga, which some people like. And I'm not going to say I don't like it, because the anime is very clean cut, very well paced. But I do like a lot of the chapters in the manga that they did happen to cut. I think it fleshes out the story a little bit more. But it's also kind of unnecessary, right? Like in the anime, the first arc is literally just Yusuke dies and needs to come back to life, and he manages that, right? That takes place in the course of, like, I think 4 or 5 episodes. In the manga, it's Yusuke dies, and then he has to earn the right to come back to life, which is the same in the anime. But he has to do some other stuff to make his soul more of a quality worthy enough to be brought back to life, right? I don't think that's exactly the reason they give, but he goes on some adventures with like, there's a ghost girl that's haunting a boy, and he's like, listen, I understand you're lonely. I'll come play with you. Please leave the boy alone. And then he forms like a little relationship with a 6-year-old girl, like a brother relationship. It's very cute. There's a kid who's getting bullied, and Yusuke kind of possesses this kid and teaches him how to like stand up for himself, right? And that's really, really well done. So there's a lot of things in there I like. And at the very end of the anime, it kind of ended. I don't mind the ending, but I don't love it. A lot of other people hate the ending, and I get why they do, because it's kind of rushed. Not rushed. It's kind of doesn't fit Yusuke's character as much as I would like, maybe. But in the manga, they actually go a little bit beyond where the anime ended, and they kind of give vignettes into everyone's life to show like what they're doing a few years later. And I think it's really good and it's really nice. And the manga ending is I like it. I like it a lot, actually. It's great. And of course, the Dark Tournament, to date, there has not been a better tournament arc than the Dark Tournament. And I will fight anybody who wants to fight me in the comments. The only one that comes kind of close, and y'all might flame me for this, is the Grand Magic Games and Fairy Tail. And I'm not saying Fairy Tail as a manga or as an anime is of a higher or as high a quality as Yu Yu Hakasho is. That's not what I'm saying. I like Fairy Tail, but it's very power of friendship, literally, which I don't vibe with as much as like a set in stone power system. But the Grand Magic Games are phenomenal, and I'll give it its flowers. The Grand Magic Games are like the single best arc in Fairy Tail, and they're very, very well done. Very hype, very crazy, very good scenes. If y'all haven't checked out Fairy Tail, I would kind of recommend it if you like Shonen. If you don't like Shonen, I would maybe just check out the Grand Magic Games. You'll be really confused, but it'll be fun. But yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is great. Dark Tournament is awesome. Even Chapter Black is phenomenal, even though I kind of think Yu Yu Hakusho peaked in Dark Tournament. Black Chapter is still really, really well done. The last arc is kind of not the best, but I don't not like it. I like the last arc fine. It's just not as good as the Dark Tournament and Chapter Black, right? And to that end, we will put Yu Yu Hakusho at the top of good, I want to say. I almost want to put it in godlike. I really, really do, but I think that's kind of my nostalgia talking. And I also think if we take into account the ending, no, this was a struggle I had the first time I recorded this. I was really, really torn between putting it in godlike, putting it in good. For now, we'll put it in good. And at the end of the tier list, I might do some reorganizing. It might find itself in godlike. We'll have to see. Yeah, I love Yu Yu Hakusho though. Rurouni Kenshin. I watched the anime of this a few years back until I learned the mangaka of it was like a child porn lover, and then I dropped it immediately. Out of just disrespect, I guess, for him. I don't know. I don't like that. A lot of people say like, you should remove the author from their work. I believe that to a certain extent, but only after the author is dead, which is why I try not to fuck with Harry Potter stuff right now. Fuck TERFs, trans rights, all that stuff. But yeah, Rurouni Kenshin. We're gonna put it in dog shit. I don't know if it actually is dog shit. When I go back and I read it, I might give y'all a review of it. But that'll only be after the mangaka is dead. And right now he's not dead, so for now we're gonna put it in dog shit. If you don't like it, tough, I guess. I don't know. Chainsaw Man. Man, oh man. Chainsaw Man, oh man. This manga is very, very fun. Up and until the end of the Makima stuff. Then it gets decent, but weird a little bit. And then it gets really weird. And it's not done yet, so I don't want to dog it too much, because I don't dislike anything that's happening in it. But I also am unsure of how I want to feel about it, or how I'm going to feel about it. We'll put this in okay. We'll put this above Fist of the North Star. Chainsaw Man is really cool. It's really good, and the first arc is phenomenally told. So I would definitely go check that out for sure. Next up, Gintama. Off rip, I was an ongoing reader of this for a very long time, And then I think around when the final arc started is when I dropped off. Because in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, when it's all done coming out, I'll just reread all of it. No, I think that was the plan. Reread all of it and then I'll finish it up in its entirety. I was planning on binging it, basically. And then life just got in the way, and then I forgot it existed until like a few years ago when I heard, I think, Nux Taku talking about it. And I was like, oh yeah, it exists. And I couldn't find it legally anywhere. So I haven't finished it yet. But I did read a lot of it. And y'all, when I tell you Gintama is phenomenal, I am not lying. It starts off as a gag manga and it never loses that gag sensibility. It's always very, very, very funny. But slowly as you read it more and more, there are like very serious underlying tones to a lot of what's going on. And it kind of builds and culminates in a very large scale, very intricately moving plot. It's so good. It's so good. Gintama is so good. If anyone has a link to where I can read Gintama for free, please drop it in the comments below because I really would like to finish it. And then I can give y'all a review on it, which would be great. Gintama's awesome. Jujutsu Kaisen. Man. Let me paint y'all a picture, right? Or let me show y'all the diagram of Jujutsu Kaisen's trajectory, right? Let's say Naruto is here. Very shortly after Jujutsu Kaisen began, it was here. Alright, so it's right here. And then going into Shibuya, it was like this. Around here is where One Piece is. And it's like, y'all see like how it's right under One Piece? And then it kind of goes down a bit in the calling game. Still very good. Still very, very good. And then the Sukuna stuff happens. And oh boy. I say a lot. Endings matter to me. I think the way a story starts and the way a story finishes, both of them have to be strong for two reasons. The first, obviously, a story starting has to be good to engage the audience, right? To get them invested. And a story's ending needs to be good by virtue of audiences will hate your work and will shame you forever, and then you'll lose money on it from just that perspective, right? Like you want it to be good. But also, I can't tell y'all the number of stories I have read that were so phenomenal, and then at the very end they just dropped the ball, and all that like satisfaction and effort and love and like just effort you put into reading and or watching or engaging with the story, just to have it kind of flub out at the end, you feel so frustrated, you know what I mean? Like I became a weekly Jujutsu Kaisen reader as soon as Gojo was unsealed. And after, spoilers for JJK, 3, 2, 1, after Gojo fucking dies, there was a steep decline in quality. For me at least, I don't know. And I felt like my time had been wasted. High key, I felt like my time had been wasted. If we were talking about just up and until the Shibuya arc, there is never a world where it's not godlike. I think if you haven't read it, I would definitely read until the Shibuya arc is done, because it's a phenomenally told story. With the actual finish of JJK, this might piss a lot of y'all off. We're gonna put it here. In dog shit. Like the ending. And that's all I have to say about that. If y'all are unhappy or y'all want to disagree with me, feel free to drop some comments down below. I'll gladly argue with whoever's down in the comments. Next up, MHA Academia. I did that on purpose. My Hero Academia. It is... Man, it had such high highs and it had some pretty low lows, and the ending was decent. The ending wasn't bad. I didn't love it, but it wasn't bad. I will say, the first 2 episodes of MHA, the first like chapter of MHA, I don't think I've ever related to a character more than Deku in those 2 chapters. By virtue of him having this dream that he's wanted for so long, and basically he himself kind of internalized that it's never gonna happen, right? It kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, right? Like he can't imagine a world where it doesn't happen, and therefore it happens, right? And then when All Might shows up and I'm about to cry, hold on. When All Might shows up and he says, you can be a hero, I'm getting teary-eyed, bro, it's crazy. I don't know, man. I remember full on crying at that scene. It was so good. Oh man, even thinking about it is so good. Oh my god. Oh man. It is crazy how much I relate to that. Because sometimes all you really need in life is for a guy to just come up to you. Somebody maybe you look up to, somebody who you care about. Just be like, you can do it, you know? You can do it. It'll be hard and you have to put the work in. But I believe in you. You can do it. And going from there to like, I think from that first 2 chapters all the way up until All Might confronts All for One, I think that shit was actually just godlike. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that if it had remained at that quality the entire time, it would be in godlike, right? But then there are some strange choices. Number one, I think there was like a showdown between class 1A and 1B. That was boring as hell. That served one purpose, and that was to show that Midoriya had multiple quirks. I also don't love the idea of Midoriya multiple quirks, but it kind of works, so I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I'm also kind of confused as to why All Might couldn't discover he had multiple quirks. A little weird to me, but neither here nor there, I guess. And then we had the first villain war, which was cool, and I was kind of down with it. And then we had evil vigilante Deku, which, not evil, never evil. We had vigilante Deku, which I loved. And I really thought the vigilante manga that Horikoshi was writing in tandem with this, I thought that would really play a part in that. And if it had, I might like MHA more than I currently do. But it didn't. And then we had another war that almost not one for one mirrored the previous one, but it was basically the same shit, right? It was basically the same plot point. We had 2 wars and there was only like a baby arc in between them. And I don't like recycling a plot that soon. And then the whole point of the story was this is how he became the world's strongest hero. But we kind of see it, but not really. We see it for like a few minutes, and then his quirk, spoilers for MHA, his quirk gets taken by All for One, and then that's what kills All for One, which is poetic, I guess, but also a little weird. And then at the end, he's like teaching for My Hero Academia, his Hero Academia, I guess, I forget what the school's called. And that's cool, and I like that a lot. But then he gets a suit that gives him power, so are we going to be getting like an MHA Shippuden? I'd be okay with that, but I want it to be handled well. I'm going to put this at the top of okay. I think it was the parts that were godlike in my mind will always be forever amazing. You know what I mean? But just the lows were just so low, bro. One thing a story should not do is bore you. I have never, even in the arcs that I don't love in One Piece, I have never been bored reading One Piece. Arcs I don't love in Hunter x Hunter, never been bored. Same with JJBA, right? Same with Yu Yu Hakasho. I'm never bored watching or reading Yu Yu Hakasho. Same with Gintama. Same with Dragon Ball. Same for the most part with Naruto. I can't think of a time I was bored reading Naruto. Watching it, different. But reading it, I don't think so. But the 4 underneath it, the ones that are in okay, not Physics North Star. I haven't finished it, that's why it's in okay. But the other 3, they have at times bored me. You know what I mean? And it's just, stories shouldn't be boring. And I understand that stories can be slow. But slow is different from boring. A story can be slow and still be engaging, right? Take a look at some of One Piece's chapters, bro. A lot of them, Wano Country was like, I think it's the longest arc we've had in One Piece. And I was not bored during Wano Kuni. I know a lot of people are like, oh, when are we going to be done with Wano Kuni? I love Wano Kuni. Every chapter was good. Even the ones that had like some weird plot stuff, it was good. I liked it. I was entertained, right? And there's a lot of building up to like that final confrontation they have on Kaido's Island. So that's what I mean, right? Like even if something is slow, it can be good. The 4 down here, I'm pointing. Y'all can't see where I'm fucking pointing. The 4 down here, these 4 right here, or these 3 rather, excuse me, at some point or other, they have all bored me. And that's why they're an okay, as opposed to good or godlike. Demon Slayer. This might trigger some of you, and I'm sorry if it does. Demon Slayer sucks. I don't like Demon Slayer. Let me tell y'all why. I read the manga up until I think the first like 15 chapters, and then I had to drop it because it was so horribly paced I couldn't keep on reading it. Then I watched the anime, and the anime was good. I liked the anime. The animation was flawless. And then I watched Mugen Train, and they killed my favorite character in that movie. Spoilers if you haven't seen Demon Slayer, though honestly, don't waste your time. Oh, some people are gonna be so mad. They killed my favorite character, and then I swore to never watch it again. And that's a few points off, but it doesn't deserve to be dog shit for that alone. And then I learned that the like cool effects, like the water and the fire and the lightning and all this dope shit they're doing, those aren't really there. Like they're there for the sake of the viewer and the reader, but like in action, like if we were watching this from the point of view of the Demon Slayers themselves, none of that shit would be there. They would just be swinging their sword around, which is fine, I guess. But I don't know, something about it just ruined Demon Slayer for me, and it cemented my like, I never want to watch it again. And also the manga is disgustingly boring. I know we're talking about my preferred interpretation, which is for sure the anime, but like it's just, blah. Not a fan. Get in the comments if you disagree. Next up, Black Clover. Man, if we're talking about ripping people off, Bleach sort of ripped off Yu Yu Hakasho. A little bit, not a ton. But Black Clover is the most Naruto anime, or manga rather, that I've read in my life. Besides exactly Naruto. It starts off with a kid who's nothing special, but it turns out he's actually incredibly special by the end of the first chapter. Because he has anti-magic. And he has a rival who is like a dark-haired, tall, handsome, very talented person, right? Reminds you all of Sasuke, hopefully. Key difference is that their Sasuke isn't evil. He never turns evil. He's constantly good, and he constantly believes in Asta, our protagonist, which I like. I like that. I'm not even wrong. I love the Sasuke retrieval arc. I love the fact that the entire plot of Naruto, for the vast majority of it, Naruto is just so focused on getting his friend back, right? Because I think it adds a lot of depth to Naruto's character, but it also kind of is a little. I would have killed Sasuke well before Naruto even. Naruto never wanted to kill Sasuke, and that's crazy to me. But that shows how much he loves Sasuke. Asta and Yuno, they don't have that issue. You know why? Because they're dope. Because they're tight. Because they're like this, bro. They're tight as fuck. They're best buddies, bro. They're BFFs. You know what else the author of Black Clover does that Kishimoto can't do? Write good women characters. Write better women characters. I think a lot of women characters are good in Black Clover, but that's just my subjective opinion. I'm sure a lot of you disagree with me, and it's probably because I'm a man and I have biases. Doesn't really matter right now. Point being is I think the women characters in this show are much better. And he introduces a ton of characters in the Black Bulls, right? And every single one of them is not relevant to the plot all the time, but is consistently relevant to the plot in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's just a sign of good writing. I like it. I like Black Clover a lot. I actually like it more than Naruto, even though it's kind of a ripoff of Naruto. Because both of them want to be the Wizard King instead of the Hokage. And that's their end goal. And the Wizard King is like super strong. He's the best wizard ever. And yeah, y'all already know. But yeah, that's Black Clover. If y'all haven't checked it out and y'all like Naruto, I would sincerely suggest checking it out. I think it's very good. Next up, Katekyo Hitman Reborn. I love this manga. If you'd asked me when I was 15, I would have put this shit in Godlight. This manga is the sole reason I am obsessed with mafia culture. If I had never read this, I never watched it, but if I had never read this, I don't think I would have ever gotten into like The Sopranos the way I did. I definitely wouldn't love Gotham as much as I do. Yeah, and I don't think I'd smoke cigars for fun the way I do now. I love a good cigar. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, this single-handedly made me love mafia culture. It is so much fun. Our boy Tsunayoshi Sawada is the main character. He's kind of a weak-hearted young man, but a good-hearted young man. And there's a little baby mafia don guy who has a gun that can shoot the will out of you. And that's kind of where the manga starts, right? And anytime Tsunayoshi is shot by this special bullet, like his kind of soul is ripped, not his soul, but like a secondary body is kind of ripped out from the first body, and the head's like, the forehead's a little bit on fire, and he's not, he can be a little aggressive, but he's much more straightforward. It's kind of like his inner desires brought manifest, right? It's very cool. It's very funny in the beginning, and it starts off as a gag manga, but very quickly, I think even by the end of the first arc, after Tsunayoshi's kind of collected some of his like mafia boys, not by his own choice, of course, that they're recruited by Reborn, the titular character. But even after that first arc, it gets like very good, and I mean, it still has like those gag elements, but it's very serious. A very well told story. I like it a lot. The ending, it's not really convoluted. It's just very grandiose. I love Katekyo Hitman Reborn. It's very good. If y'all haven't checked it out, I would read it. I wouldn't watch it. I've heard the anime has some issues. So yeah. Do I like it more than Dragon Ball? Do I like it more than Gintama? I think we'll put it right here. I like Gintama just a hair more because Gintama is just so spectacularly funny all the way through. Next up, Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone I have read a few times. No, jokes. I've read it halfway through and then I dropped it. Not because it was bad, life got busy. And it's fine. I'm gonna put it in okay. I'm gonna put it on a Chainsaw Man. It's fine. If you like science, go read it. It's interesting, even though there's a scene where a gun drops in the water and it's like a very rudimentary gun drops in the water and still able to shoot a bullet, which I don't think. Let me know in the comments below if that would still work, because I'm not sure it would. But it's cool. It's interesting. I really liked the plot, and then I was kind of on the plot, and then I got kind of bored, and that's why I dropped it, and that's why it's an okay, right? Next up, Dragon Quest and the Adventures of Dai. Let me make sure we're recording. We are perfect. Never heard of it, never watched it. Mashal! Oh, man. Y'all want to talk about a good gag manga? Look no further. Mashal is so funny. So funny, bro. In a world where magic is prevalent everywhere and everyone has magic, Mash is born without magic. But he trains his body like a motherfucker. And he then, his body is so absurdly powerful, he's A, able to withstand the effects of most magic, and B, move faster than most magic users can even perceive. And C, his body is so fortified, a lot of people just think he's doing magic. So he tricks his way into a school to become the grand visionary, I think, who can then make laws in their country, which is a fucked up system, but that's how it works. And so his goal is to make it so that non-magic people can live in peace, right? I think they're killed or something in this world, but it's fine. He's a complete fucking moron. He really enjoys making cream puffs, but he doesn't really understand what's going on half the time. The gags are so funny. Everyone around him is so fucking serious. And Mouse was just over here like, I like cream puffs, you guys. And he's just constantly, just because he's so like spaced out all the time, is constantly making so many funny jokes. It's great. I love this manga. We'll put it above Black Clover. Yeah, I think so. Put it above Black Clover. Mashal is great. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Also, that second opening, the bling bong bong bling bong bong bling bong bong born. I mean, come on. That shit's a banger. I love music, and the fact that it has good music is phenomenal. Death Note. Man, oh man, where do I put Death Note? So here's the thing. If Death Note had, I don't want to say if it had ended when L died, it would have been way better. But I think if L had lived till the end of the story, it would have been phenomenal. It would probably be godlike. That's how much I love Death Note with like L and Light's relationship, right? Spoilers for Death Note, by the way. I don't know why you haven't seen this yet. You should. It's good. But yeah, Death Note is great. It's really good. My only issue is that I don't like Nier and Mellow, which is the entire back half of Death Note. Those characters, they're not boring per se, but they're just kind of ripoffs of L, and I don't love that. We'll put Death Note at the top of okay. But the ending is so good. The ending to Death Note is phenomenal. I really like the ending. We'll put it at the top of okay. We might have to reevaluate later. Saint Seiya! Never watched it. Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Yu-Gi-Oh! It's obviously I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I just talked about how I went to go play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the reason I play card games. It's the reason I'm probably as big a nerd as I am. Also might be a little bit why I'm so competitive. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's fun. The sub is good. The dub is very fun, but I think is just, depending on who you ask, a little worse than the sub. Because there's a lot of censorship in the dub. The manga, Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 rather, is crazy good. But we're talking obviously about Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game. The card game show. It's good. It's good. I like it. I definitely like it less than Naruto. So if I'm going to put it in good, I'm going to put it at the bottom of good. Was I ever bored while watching Yu-Gi-Oh? I was. There's a lot of duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are kind of boring to me. Maybe on first watch they would have been okay, but no, even on first watch, some of the duels I just did not care about. Yeah, like the Mai Joey duels I really wasn't a big fan of. Yeah, we'll put it in okay. It's fine. Burn the Witch. This one is interesting. I like this one. Burn the Witch is not a sequel manga to Bleach, but is written by Tite Kubo and takes place in the same universe as Bleach, evidently. It is fine. It's only 12 chapters long. I think maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It's fine. It's good. I wasn't bored while reading it, but it didn't leave enough of an impact on me for me to put it in good. So we'll let me actually put Yu-Gi-Oh! We're definitely gonna put it below Death Note, MHA, Bleach. Put it above Chainsaw Man for now. We'll put Burn the Witch below Chainsaw Man, but above Dr. Stone. I do like him more than Dr. Stone. City Hunter, never watched. Boruto. So, this is Boruto, not Boruto the Twin Vortex, or whatever the sequel manga to OG Boruto is. If we're talking about just the Boruto manga and the sequel manga, this would be godlike. I shit you guys not. I never expected to like Boruto the way I do, but the Boruto manga is so goddamn good, it's crazy. But for this, we're going to talk about the anime, because the anime has more stuff in it, and also I would not feel right about talking about the manga here when the manga is so intrinsically different from the anime, and I think more people are familiar with the anime. If we're talking about the manga, just to be clear, it would be right below JJBA. It would be godlike. But we're going to talk about the anime for this one. And in the anime, it's kind of dog. Kind of not great. The animation quality, stellar. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. It has good animation. My issue is that it's basically just filler. And don't get me wrong, the first like 15-ish episodes of filler are good. I don't mind them. But overall, it's just... it feels like a waste of time. The only good arc to my understanding is when they travel back in time to like OG Naruto. Which, oh wow, what a shock. The show got good when they went back to the good show. When they went back in time so far, they went back into a different show. But Boruto the anime is bad. Go read the manga. The manga's phenomenal. Bastard. I don't know how any other way to read it, but I've never watched it. Toriko. Man. Y'all want to talk about good? Let's talk about some motherfucking Toriko. Best synopsis I can give of Toriko without spoiling anything is Dragon Ball, but food. I think that's pretty accurate. I think I feel comfortable saying that. Spoilers for Toriko in 3, 2, 1. We follow Toriko, a gourmet hunter, in a world where the most delicious foods are often incredibly dangerous and hard to get. Which is why they have things like gourmet hunters. And Toriko is, I think, like the highest class of gourmet hunter, along with 3 other guys who are called the 4 Kings, I want to say. A lot of parallels to Dragon Ball. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. That might could be a reason why I like it so much. But there's enough different to where it's worth a read, at least if not a watch. And the stuff that's different is really good. The relationship between him and his chef is phenomenal. I really like Toriko. I really like food, so it makes sense that I like Toriko. If y'all like food and y'all like Dragon Ball, go watch Toriko or read Toriko. Toriko's pretty great. I would say go read it, but if y'all want to watch it, you can. I'm gonna put it just below Dragon Ball because they are not almost the same, but they're pretty fucking similar. Promised Neverland. Only watched 2 episodes, and I didn't watch any more. Not because it's bad, but because I don't like watching people get eaten. Just a weird hang-up I have. I don't know. It's the reason I never watched Attack on Titan. Dr. Slump, Toriyama's first work. If y'all like the Dragon Ball humor, y'all will like Dr. Slump. It's very fun. It's very cute. Arali is a very funny character. I like it a lot. But it's nothing special. Nothing spectacular. Nothing on you, Toriyama. It's R.I.P. But it's nothing phenomenal. Y'all can check it out for yourselves. Let me know how y'all feel about it. I'm gonna throw it an okay. We will put it above Dr. Stone. Do I want to put Dr. Stone in Doctor? No, it's not. I didn't dislike Dr. Stone, but yeah. Haikyuu. I never finished Haikyuu. Not because it's not amazing. It definitely is. I just kind of got busy with life, but I do plan on going back and reading it. I think it's all on the Shonen Jump app. I'll make this real quick. I don't like sports. I don't like sports anime, but goddamn, I will. What the hell? I will watch these boys play volleyball until I die. There's just something about the characterization and the storytelling and the teamwork. I don't know that I've ever cried tears of joy for a sports game the way I've cried tears of joy for like some games in Haikyuu. It's just, I don't give a single flying fuck about sports. I care about volleyball a little bit after reading Haikyuu. You know how good a manga has to be to get you to care about something you actively just did not give a shit about? Haikyuu's great. If y'all haven't read it, go read it. If y'all haven't watched it, go watch it. I hear the anime is just as good. Sket Dance. I think I remember maybe reading a chapter of this, but I don't remember anything about it. We're gonna put it in never read. Food Wars. Man, this is another example of the endings mattering. Cause the first couple of seasons of Food War, I actually read the manga, but to my understanding, the third season is when it gets to the shitty arc in the manga. The first couple of seasons of Food War are phenomenal. They are so fun, and there's definitely a correlation between how much I like cooking and my reading Food Wars. But that last arc, and don't get me wrong, this is nothing on the mangaka, because I know the mangaka wanted to end the series after the first two seasons, and maybe write a third season about something completely different. But the publishers, I think Shonen Jump, were like, no, you have to write about what we want you to write, and you have to write more. And then he was like, oh, okay, well, fuck you guys. Here's a shitty arc. There's evil chefs, and I don't mean chefs without morals. I mean a literal organization of chefs who call themselves evil, which is insane. They cook with chainsaws, which is wild. There's a guy who has a skill where if he takes your knife, he can cook exactly like you, which doesn't make any fucking sense, but okay. Really shoddily written, really awkward, really weird. Last chapter is really good, but everything before the last chapter is pretty shit. After the spoilers for Food Wars, 3, 2, 1. After the God Tongue Lady becoming the principal. Next up, I've heard it's very good, never watched it. Shaman King, heard it's okay, never watched it. Madaka Box, don't know anything about this. Ass Class, aka Assassination Classroom. I have a deep love for good student-teacher relationships in stories. I love that shit. It's one of the reasons I love Naruto, because Jiraiya is a phenomenal mentor to Naruto, right? It's one of the reasons I love Yu Yu Hakasho so much, because Genkai is like the GOAT when it comes to senseis. I love Genkai. It's one of the reasons Hunter x Hunter is good. It's one of the reasons One Piece is great. It's one of the reasons I have a lot of love for a lot of these shows, right? There is no better mentor relationship in any manga that I have read, besides maybe Exactly Greatest Teacher Onizuka, than Assassination Classroom. Koro Sensei is just the best. The plot twist that we learn about his backstory is insane. Nagisa's arc from being this shy, timid boy to being a literal masterclass assassin who then follows in the footsteps of Koro Sensei is just so well told. Spoilers for Assassination Classroom, major spoilers for Assassination Classroom in 3, 2, 1. The kids' goodbye to Koro Sensei before he dies is just so heartbreakingly beautiful. I'm about to cry again. Oh my god. I need to go back and reread Assassination Classroom. It's so good. I love this manga. It is phenomenal. It is great. I was never bored. As much as I love Koro Sensei's relationship to all of his students, I still don't think it's godlike. It's not that there's problems with it. I enjoy it for different reasons, I think. And I think the four up top just have something really special and really different about them compared to the other things here. And Assassination Classroom, while it is different from a lot of the things on this list, does share a lot of similarities, at least to me, with Great Teacher Onizuka, which is much funnier, but it follows a lot of the same themes, right? There might be like a direct inference of that. I will put it just under Yu Yu Hakasho. I for sure like it more than Dragon Ball. Sorry, you Dragon Ball fans. And again, these two, there might very well, could be moved to godlike towards the end of the list. But I think for right now, we're gonna put them in good. Man, I love Assassination Classroom. It's so great. It's so great, bro. D. Gray Man. I read 12 chapters. Didn't like it. I'll put it in dog shit. I'll put it above Rurouni Kenshin, but I'll put it in dog shit. Kuroko's Basketball. Aggressively okay. I fell off. TLDR, Naruto with basketball. Probably the best way to put it. Not an exact one-for-one to Naruto, obviously. Definitely plot-wise, there's not much like Naruto. But in terms of people having like special, unique-ish powers playing basketball, it's pretty spot on. There you go, Kuroko's Basket. To Love 3, never read it. Prince of Tennis, never read it. Captain Tsubasa, never read it. I thought this was Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles at first. If y'all like shoujo, definitely check out Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. It's very good. Very good. That and its sister manga, XXX Holic, also very good. And I promise Holic is not porn related. It's just called XXX for some reason. Slam Dunk. I've heard it's very good. Never watched it. iShield 21. Heard it's good. Never watched it. Nisekoi. Let's talk about Nisekoi for a second. I really like this manga. I don't remember a ton of it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I just remember binging it in like 3 days and being like, wow, this story is sensational. I can't really talk too much about it. I think it's about like a love triangle, if memory serves. It is very, very good, very well told. Because I can't remember, we'll put it below Naruto. I just remember it's very good, so go check it out. Kinnikuman, Ultimate Muscle. Never read it, but it sounds interesting. Hikaru no Go. I'm gonna stop and talk about this one for a minute. This was one of the earlier manga I read. I think I just gotten off Naruto, and I was looking for something different. I didn't want classic punchy fight shonen, right? I was like maybe 13 at the time, and I just remember reading this book. I remember seeing the game of Go, and I was like, oh, I like games. I'll check this out. And it's fascinating. I don't know why I was so in love with this, but I was. It's about this boy named Hikaru who doesn't really understand Go, but one day when he opens up a Go book, a ghost pops out and kind of possesses him. And this ghost is like, he's like an old ass goat, but he's also one of but he's also like one of the goats of like the game Go. So then he tells Hikaru to go to a tournament, and Hikaru just starts schooling some very seasoned players. I think he takes his first loss to what eventually becomes his rival, right? But Hikaru it's kind of about the story of Hikaru falling in love with this game because his ghost friend loves it so much. And they do become like fast friends, right? And then like I think right as Hikaru enters like the pro leagues, the ghost without anything is just gone. Like I think as soon as he signs the paper and he steps out of the building, he's looking for the ghost, and the ghost just isn't there anymore. And the ghost normally just follows him around 24/7, right? And that's like halfway through the manga. And then the back half of the manga is like Hikaru kind of getting better at Go without his ghost friend, and kind of learning to love Go in the way his ghost buddy loved Go. And I don't know, maybe the ghost disappeared because like he was at peace because he shared his love and joy of Go with his boy. I don't know, but it's so poignant and so well told. I like it a lot. Hikaru no Go is good. I don't think it's better than Naruto. I think it's better than Nisekoi though. So we'll put it right there. World Trigger, man, oh man. Let's talk about World Trigger for a second. World Trigger is fascinating. If you like sci-fi stuff, I would definitely check it out, regardless of what I'm about to say here. It is very interesting, very cool. I think there was something like a 3 or 4 year long hiatus, a crazy long hiatus on World Trigger. And they were really gearing up towards like some really, really big shit. And I was getting so hyped for it. And then when it came back, they're still gearing up for it, but it took a very different turn from what I was expecting. It's not bad. It's just kind of slower paced from what I think it was. What I thought it was going to be anyway. It's fine. It's decent. Had you asked me before the hiatus, I would have put it in good 100%, no doubt in my mind. The recent chapters haven't been boring necessarily, but they're not like inherently great either. They're also monthly now, so I have to kind of remember what happened in the last chapter. I think formatting is a big part of it. I think when I go back and I reread it once it's all done, my opinion might change. But for now, we'll put it above. We'll put it above Burn the Witch. I like it a little bit more than Burn the Witch. I thought it said Ben 7 for a second. What the fuck is this? Can't read it. We'll throw it here. Claymore. I've heard of it. Never read it. Buso Renkin. Never heard of it. We'll put it here. Teacher Nube. We'll put that here too. Never read it. Let's talk about Bakuman for a second. A friend I used to have in high school and a healthy bit through and after college. His favorite manga of all time was Bakuman. So like 5-6 years ago, I finally went and I read it. And I can see why. If y'all have ever considered writing manga, read Bakuman. Bakuman is about these two kids who literally want to be published in Shonen Jump. And it's about their journey of creating the best-selling manga of all time. There's like a love story involved in there as well, but it's... Man, I've only read it once. But I remember a lot of it. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it. There's only one place I can put this in. I'm actually going to put it above Haikyuu. I think Bakuman is godly. That's how good this manga was. It's not too long, which is important. Because some manga run on way too long. I'm looking at you, Bleach. They run on way too long. They kind of overstay their welcome sometimes. And sometimes they can, they'll overstay their welcome in an arc. And then they'll come back and they'll write a really good arc. Again, looking at you, Bleach. But it doesn't mean they don't overstay their welcome, right? Bakuman does not do that. Bakuman is, when I mentioned earlier, where a manga can be kind of slow but still incredibly engaging, that's kind of what Bakuman is. Because there's a lot of slow moving arcs in this series, but every single arc is just so good, bro. So if y'all have any interest in like the life of a mangaka, I hope I'm saying that word right. Tell me down below if I am. Mangaka, maybe. Read Bakuman. Bakuman's phenomenal. Hoshin Engi. Never even heard of this one. Black Cat. Let's talk about Black Cat. Black Cat is the first manga I have ever read. There is a direct correlation between my reading of Black Cat and where I am in life right now. In a good way. I owe so much to this manga. If I had never read Black Cat, there's no telling if I would have ever gotten into manga. You know what I mean? And that's in large part because Black Cat is interesting. It's fascinating. It's very comparable to a lot of the other works on here. It's incredibly short, but it's so good. It's about this assassin named the Black Cat who gives up on the assassin life to become a sweeper, which is like a bounty hunter in this world, right? He has the most legendary gun skills of all time, and there's a lot of subplots, but there's only one main through plot, and that's that the Black Cat hates this guy named Creed for killing the woman who taught the Black Cat what it means to be free, right? And Creed, evil motherfucker, who is borderline in love with the Black Cat. Not who the Black Cat is now, but who he was when he was a ruthless fucking assassin, right? And so it's kind of this story of Creed showing up and wanting to recruit the Black Cat. Black Cat's name is Train, and Train being like, go fuck yourself, buddy. And even though he's pissed at Creed, he doesn't want to kill Creed because sweepers don't kill, right? That's a rule he abides by. And the reason spoilers for Black Cat, obviously, but spoilers for Black Cat. The reason he values the rules of a sweeper so much is because the woman Creed killed, who taught Train what it means to be free and live your life for yourself, was a sweeper, right? So it's very good. It's very good stuff. I can't even begin to talk about how much it means to me. It's phenomenal. And I understand there's a lot of better stuff on here, right? I think Naruto is maybe objectively better than Black Cat. I'm gonna be very unobjective about this, and I'm gonna put this right here. I'm putting it right between Dragon Ball and Toriko. I think Dragon Ball is more influential on me, but there's no denying how much of an influence Black Cat had on me when I started reading manga. It's just, and I went back and I reread it a few years ago, and it's still good. That's what surprised me. It's still good. I thought it would be kind of dog, and my nostalgia was recovering. And the anime is not great. Go read the manga, but the manga is just chef's kiss, bro. It's so well told. I like it a lot. Starts off a little slow. There's not a lot of plot relevant stuff in the beginning. It's more episodic. But as the episodes kind of go on, the through line kind of shows up. Love Black Cat. Black Cat's easy and good. Charge Men's Private School. Not only have I never read this, I don't want to read it. Same with DNA. It's something I don't want to read. I've never heard of it. Don't know what it's about. So the last thing we'll talk about is Psyche K no Scion, aka whatever the fuck of Psyche K. I'm talking about the manga. I haven't watched the anime ever. The manga is hysterically funny. It is one of the funniest manga I have read maybe in my life. Granted, it's been like 8-ish years since I've read it, but it is stellar. It is so hysterically good. Not super plot heavy, at least not where I was reading it, but it's good. It's definitely good. I think I like it a little bit more than Mashle, a little bit less than Reborn. Yeah, I mean, I think both Yu Yu Hakasho and the Assassination Classroom deserve to be up here. I think for letting myself be a little bit unbiased. Nope, we want it like this. Yeah, for letting myself be a little bit biased, I'll throw them up in Godlike. I love these manga, right? Like so. Anything in good that I want to move around? No, because this is the list, y'all. This is the list. We have 7 total manga from this list in Godlike, and only one of the big 3 is in there. And I think 5 of these are fairly pop. 6 of these. The only one that's not super popular is probably Assassination Classroom and Bakuman. And then Bakuman I don't think is popular at all. It maybe had a little bit of anime, but I don't know. But yeah, here's the tier list. About an hour long. Wow, I said I wouldn't talk as long as I did, and I sure the fuck did. So that's on me. It'll probably be edited down. Fingers crossed it'll be under an hour. Double fingers crossed it'll be under 50 minutes. But yeah, this is the video. If y'all disagree with anything I got up here, drop it down below in the comments. I'll fight with y'all on my opinions, bro. I love arguing my opinions. And let me know down below, again, what are the things y'all want me to do, other tier lists y'all want me to make, other content y'all want me to react to, other games y'all want me to play. As I said in my inaugural video, I want to build a community here, and I think for it to be an actual community, the community should have a say in the type of stuff they'll be given, right? So please, if you have any opinions, drop them down below. I'd love to hear them. And as I said before, leave a like and subscribe if y'all really enjoyed the video. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Can't tell you what to do. But if you could, I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you sweet and spicy ass motherfuckers next time. Peace.